Phase three, marketing anticipation. So this will begin on June 22nd. This is the phase where we move from private outreach to now making a public presence. And I want to be very clear because in this phase, it's probably not what you think. So in phase three, our job is not to announce what's going on. Our job is actually going to be creating curiosity on social media. So balance for her is coming back, but we're not going to say that just yet. What we are going to do is we're going to show up on social media in a way that makes our audience want to lean in because we want to create that feeling that something significant is coming without really telling them exactly what it is. Now, that feeling is what's going to move people from being passive followers to now engaged watchers in social media. The first action step, because there are three action steps in phase three, the first action step is going to be to post content. There is going to be ready to post graphics that will be provided. You're going to post them on your social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, but we are not requiring you to redesign them. I don't want you to overthink them. So they're going to be there ready for you to post. Now, there is going to be a template option where you can make it your own by maybe changing the color, adding a logo, adding a personal one line at the top or the bottom of the post. So that's really going to help to brand you. I'm very big on encouraging every brand partner to brand themselves to be their authentic self. And so the second step is going to be the fun part because every comment, every like, and even reactions, those are going to be leads. Okay. So that's a signal that that is a lead. What that means, it's going to signal you that you need to reach out back to them within 24 hours and move that conversation from a public into a private DM. So from the comment section into the DMs or your Facebook Messenger for every single one on your post. Okay. So any of the content that you're going to be posting, you're going to post and you're going to follow up. And then on three, action step three is going to be share the proof. The customer stories that you gathered from phase two are now the most powerful content that you can use in your stories. These are the real testimonies, right? That you gathered from the women that you know that experience what it was like being on the products. And that, my friend, is also worth more than 10 graphics could be. One testimony, but we do have a testimonial template that all you need to do is copy paste what they shared or a screenshot and you can have that into a branded she's back. Um, let's see, anything else on steps one, two, and three? So when we speak about leads, I'm actually going to break down phase three with offering you a little bit more equipping when it comes to responses. Like when somebody responds on anything that you post in your socials, how can you respond? And even giving you a way to turn every yes and no or no thank you into a positive experience. Okay. So when someone responds to your phase three content, this is your content you're going to be posting that's going to be creating the curiosity as well as testimonies. So, whether it's a comment that's on a feed post or a reaction to a story, the one rule that I want you to follow without exception, okay, is that every conversation in the comments need to get out of the comments and they need to get into a private conversation in your DMs or your messenger. Public threads do not convert. That's why private conversations is where it happens. So no matter what someone says in their comments, your first response is really to move them nice and flowingly into a private conversation. So let me walk through the three types of responses that you may see and how you can respond to each one. So the first is a curious comment. You may get something like, "What is this? Tell me more. I need this." Your response right there in the public comment can be something like, "I am so glad this caught your eye. Check your DM. I'm going to be sending you a message." That's the flow into a private message. Now, that's going to be one sentence moving them into the DMs. The second is going to be a personal share. "I've been struggling with this too. Oh my gosh, this sounds like me." Now, when somebody shares the personal share, what you're going to want to know is that she's not curious, she's now relating. So, your response in the public comment should be something like, "I am so glad that you shared this. I'm so glad that you commented because this means a lot." Then you can go in the DMs and say, "Hey, can I ask how long you've been feeling this way?" Where you acknowledge them before you give them information, right? This is where she knows that she's not just getting a product pitch, because what she needs is to feel heard. And you ask that one question, and that allows the conversation to spark. Now, you may get comments on postings that are very skeptical. Like, does this actually work? Or is it one of those MLM things? I'm going to tell you, don't defend. Never, ever defend, especially publicly. And never explain the compensation plan or none of that publicly. But what you can publicly respond is with, like, hey, that's a totally fair question. I was skeptical too. I've been in your shoes before. Then you go directly into that person's DM and you say, can I share what has changed my mind? Because the truth is, your personal story is the only answer that's going to work here. You want to redirect to your experience, whether it's in the industry or redirect to your personal experience with the product, or even utilizing some of the customer testimonies as, hey, I get it. I understand. Not trying to convince you, but there's women that were feeling very similar, and this product has helped them. And then you can share some of those testimonies as well. So when someone responds with any of those scenarios, I provided you with some responses that can really help you um, respond in a very, I don't want to say peaceful way, but in a very professional manner that still allows you to stand in your confidence. Now, what about if the situation changes and they respond to you in your DMs? This is a completely different conversation with a different goal because she landed in your DM. So the hard part is already done, right? She self selected to meet you in the DM. She came to you. So now your job is to ask the right questions in the right order. So when they respond in your DM, the rule is the story reply or DM treat us as an invitation. Don't pitch it and ask one question first. Okay. So we don't want to pitch. We want to ask a question first. And I'm providing you with the opener. This is when somebody lands in your DMs from a post or a story reply. Your response should be something like, hey, I'm so glad that you reached out. Can I ask what caught your attention in the DM, right? Because this one question is going to tell you everything you need to know. Her answer is going to show whether she's curious about the product or she's struggling something personal, or even if she's open to the opportunity. Let that question be what you share and let her response lead that conversation. Don't jump ahead. Now, the qualifying question. So she answered your opener, and now you need to respond to which direction you got to take the conversation. Your response could be, are you more looking for something that helps you personally? Or are you someone who loves sharing that would love to share this with others too? This is the only question that matters here, because now it's going to separate from a customer from a potential business builder or a brand partner without you having to guess. Her answer is going to tell you exactly what you need to send next. So let's say she shared enough that you know that she is actually interested in the product. Your response is going to be, I would love to send you some information on that product. Is it okay if I share a quick link? And would it be weird if I check back with you in a couple days? Now, here's a key thing I want you to take note on. Always ask permission before sending a link. So you've asked, like, hey, would it be cool if I send you some information and I share a quick link? You're asking permission. The second part that you want to make sure is that you always set the follow up in that same message. So by saying, hey, would it be weird if I check back in a few days? Then you're already letting them know, like, that you're going to come back in the DM. You're not going to be awkwardly trying to do a follow up on a cold message. So that is your complete direct message playbook. When someone is in the DMs, you have an opener, a qualifier, and then a handoff. In that order, every time it will help keep the conversation being directed where you're not going to feel like you're cornered up against a wall. Now, the last part of this section is the warm lead tease. You can actually use this when someone says no, thank you, or when someone says, yes, send me more information. What do I mean by that is that when you share this as a DM and the conversation that you have provided where the energy is right, she's engaged, she may be asking questions about the product or she may just be having conversation with you, but she's leaning in. Here's where you can take this to the next level because you know that something bigger is going to be coming on June 26th, right? You know, phase 4, the full launch, the challenge, but you don't want to tell her everything, but you want to tell her something. So here's a script that you could absolutely work off of. Like, hey, there's actually something that we're building around this launch that I think you're going to love. I can't share all the details, but June 26th, you're going to want to stay close because everything is going to be shared there. I just want you to be the first to hear it. So, what you just did here is that you're not announcing the challenge, but you just created like an insider VIP moment. Now she feels personally invited into something before the rest of the world publicly hears it. And that feeling of being seen and chosen, that's what makes her show up on the 26th. That's what helps her become ready to actually to say yes, which now creates a conversation that converts into a confirmed order. So, what do you not do? Okay. You do not want to name the challenge, explain the bundle, share the dates, all the details, the price. You just want to give one tease. That script that I shared, that's it. One line and let the curiosity do the work because the women that you have these conversations with now here in phase three are going to be the most converted customers when phase four launches. They've been warming up for days. And by the time phase four launches on June 26th, most chances are they're going to be ready. So let's talk about what's coming before we lock into phase four. Before we move into phase four, I want you to know that I will be releasing the phase three content on June 22nd. This is all of the content for your posting. So you're going to want to watch for that in the House of Ula Facebook group. And now let's move on to phase four.